in the quiet embrace of dawn, when the world is wrapped in soft shadows, and the gentle breath of morning stirs the dew-kissed leaves, there lived an artist named Bram. He possessed a heart that thrived on the pulse of nature, an endless wanderlust guiding him through the meandering paths that twisted and turned through enchanting landscapes. These were paths lined with ancient trees that whispered secrets to the wind, and soft streams that sang a lullaby as they danced over smooth stones. Bram cherished the gentle solitude of the early hours before the sun poured its vibrant warmth upon the earth. It was a time when the sky wore a gown of delicate pastels, unfolding to reveal the promise of new adventures. He would rise with the birds' first song, welcoming the day with open arms and a peaceful heart, ready to wander through emerald meadows and golden fields. Today, his journey began with a steaming cup of herbal tea, the sweet fragrance of chamomile and mint weaving through the air, wrapping him in a soft cocoon of comfort. With his easel tucked under one arm and a satchel brimming with brushes and colors in the other, he stepped out, breathless with anticipation. The world was a canvas waiting to be painted, and Bram could feel the whispers of inspiration swirling around him like a gentle breeze. His favorite trail wound through the quiet woods just beyond the little village where he lived. There, the trees stood tall and majestic, their leaves shimmering like emeralds caught in the embrace of sunlight. The path was layered with soft moss, offering a gentle touch beneath his worn boots. Each step felt like a connection to the earth, grounding him in the beauty that surrounded him. The woodland was alive with the soft rustle of leaves, the chirping of birds harmonizing as they greeted the day, and the distant babble of a brook winding its way through the underbrush. As Bram walked, he could almost hear the symphony of nature playing just for him, lulling him into a tranquil state where his thoughts danced freely. He followed the stream, its cool waters casting silver reflections as they wound past ancient stones covered in velvety moss. Whenever he paused to take in the scenery, the delicate scent of lilac and wildflowers enveloped him, pulling him deeper into the serene ambiance of the wilderness. The laughter of the brook invited him to sit upon a mossy rock, where he could dip his fingers into its crystal-clear embrace, savoring the refreshing chill that crept up his arms. Moments like this brought him clarity, a quiet reminder of the beauty that lay in simplicity and solitude. He opened his satchel, retrieving a small notebook where he often sketched the fleeting flames of inspiration sparked by the world around him. His pencil flowed across the page, capturing the essence of the whispering leaves, the joyful dance of the water, and the soft light that filtered through the canopy above. Each stroke was a prayer of gratitude for the beauty bestowed upon him. As the sun began to peek through the branches, casting dappled patterns upon the forest floor, Bram felt a gentle pull, nudging him to continue his journey. With the promise of new discoveries ahead, he rose from his rocky perch, leaving behind a sweet trail of ink and whispers as he followed the brook deeper into the woods. The path wound upwards, leading him to a small glade bathed in golden sunlight. Here, fragrant wild herbs clustered around the edges, their scents mingling in the warm air. It was a place where time seemed to slow, where the world held its breath in reverence to the stillness that enveloped this sacred spot. Bram could feel the warmth of the sun wrapping around him like a gentle embrace, filling his spirit with warmth and optimism. Taking a deep breath, he reveled in the mingling scents of lavender and sage, their calming aromas creating a symphony of tranquility to wrap around his heart. He felt at home here, as if the very essence of the glade welcomed him with open arms, each blade of grass and each softly fluttering leaf affirming his belonging. This was where his heart danced freely, where creativity opened like blossoms in spring, eager to greet the world. Bram began to paint, the colors flowing from his brush like the life of the forest around him. He worked with patience, layering hues to reflect the kaleidoscope of nature. Swirls of vibrant greens and gentle golds cascaded onto the canvas, resembling the dance of sunlight among the leaves and the vibrant wildflowers that capped the glades. With each stroke, he poured his heart into the painting, letting the whispers of the woods guide his hand. The world outside felt distant and unimportant. In this sacred moment, only his creativity and the serenity of nature existed. Time unspooled gently, a soft thread weaving through the hours, taking on a dreamlike quality. The songs of the birds echoed softly around him, a constant reminder of the beauty that thrived in this peaceful realm. As the sun climbed higher, it cast kaleidoscopic patterns of light through the leaves, turning the glade into a shimmering sanctuary. Bram glanced at the sky, its blue depths limitless and inviting. He could feel a sense of expansion within himself, a gentle reminder that there was beauty in dreams, in the pursuit of creation, and in the quiet satisfaction that came from wandering. With each brushstroke, he released his thoughts, allowing the worries of the world outside to fade into nothingness. As afternoon settled like a warm blanket over the glade, Bram stepped back, admiring the painting that came to life on the canvas before him. It was more than just a piece of art. It was an experience, a slice of the gentle world that surrounded him, infused with the sweet solace that blooming flowers and the laughter of the brook offered. In the warm hush of the afternoon, he felt a longing to take this moment with him, to carry it in his heart as he journeyed back home. He carefully laid the canvas down to dry with a tender touch, ensuring that the beauty he had captured would remain untouched by the passage of time. But as with all lovely moments, it was time to move on, to continue his exploration of the world that beckoned him. With a contented heart and a mind swirling with inspiration, Bram began his walk homeward along the winding path that led back through the woods. The golden hues of evening began to seep into the sky, casting a soft glow over the landscape, painting everything in shades of amber and sepia. On the way, the sun began to dip low in the horizon, showering its light over the world in a farewell embrace. It illuminated the leaves, creating a rustling sea of light that shimmered and danced, a gentle farewell from the day. Each rustle was a reminder of the stories intertwined in the branches, of lives lived in harmony with nature, weaving through the tapestry of time. As he walked beneath the trees, the shadows grew long, cradling him in their gentle embrace. The sound of crickets began to fill the air, their songs weaving a quiet symphony alongside the rustling leaves. It was a world that felt calm, as if nature itself breathed in concert with Bram's heart, guiding him back to the home where stories awaited him, where warmth and solace welcomed him at day's end. Bram took a moment to pause, allowing himself to soak in the last blush of the sunset, feeling gratitude rise within him for the day's journey. Under the vast expanse of the twilight sky, awash in hues of violet and rose, he whispered a soft goodbye to the woods that had cradled his creativity. Deep inside, he knew that this connection would never fade. It would remain etched in his heart, a quiet beacon that might guide him through the ebb and flow of life, reminding him of the magic found in wandering and the joy discovered in solitude. With one last glance at the golden tangle of sunlit leaves, Bram turned and continued his serene stroll toward home, the balance of quietness and joy weaving together in the harmony of his heart like a gentle lullaby, coaxing him into the sweet anticipation of tomorrow's adventures. The path, beneath the blush of the evening light, whispered promises that life, in its simplest form, would always hold a touch of wonder, waiting to be explored in the soft embrace of dreams. The evening sky painted a smooth landscape of serenity, each hue a brushstroke of dusk whispering its secrets. As Bram traversed the path back to his cottage, the air cooled gently, wrapping him in a soft shroud that felt like an embrace. He could hear the murmur of the brook nearby, its voice carrying the essence of his day. A day woven from a tapestry of blossoms and colors, thoughts and dreams, now serenading him as the sun slipped away. With each step, the rhythm of his heart matched the quiet pulse of the earth. The path rounded a bend, leading him past a clearing where wildflowers swayed like tiny dancers in the gentle breeze. Here was a patch of evening primrose, their delicate petals unfurling to greet the gentle twilight. Bram paused, kneeling to touch the silken texture of the blossoms, their fragrance a light, soothing promise of nightfall. A composed tranquility settled within him as he admired their resilience, blooming with tender defiance against the closing day. The fragrance of fresh earth and damp foliage mingled in the air, a reminder of the symbiosis of life thriving all around. It filled him with warmth, recalling how the flowers bloomed only after crawling through the soil and enduring the shimmer of rain. He felt a kinship with them, reassured that like these gentle souls, he too could weather life's ebbs and flows, painting his journey with strokes of courage and color. As he resumed his walk, he felt the pull of the impending night, urging him homeward towards the welcoming glow of his cottage. Nestled at the edge of the woods, it stood modestly among the tall wild grasses that framed its entrance, a sanctuary dressed in ivy, warm light spilling from its windows like gentle laughter spilling from the hearts of friends. The winding path grew familiar, and at once he felt the embrace of belonging surround him. Bram stepped across the threshold of his home, greeted by the comforting fragrance of lavender and honey wafting from the small stove. He let out a soft sigh, as though part of him had been waiting just for this moment, to exist within these cozy walls that ruled out the world outside. The flickering candlelight danced across the walls like tiny fairies, casting soft shadows that swayed lazily, celebrating the end of the day with him. With a light heart, he brewed himself a warm cup of herbal tea, the steam curling like wisps of fog into the cool air. The delicate aroma of chamomile gave way to memories of the day, reminding him that he had captured a piece of the world, a fleeting glimpse of beauty laid bare on canvas. As the kettle sang its gentle song, he stole glances out of the window, where the first stars began to twinkle against the indigo backdrop of the sky. Once the tea was ready, he settled at a small, well-worn table, adorned with sketches and brushes, surrounded by the familiar poetry of his thoughts. He took a sip, feeling the warmth seep through him, soothing and igniting the wistful flicker of inspiration within. The corners of his mouth curled into a soft smile, cherishing the memories forged from the love of quiet explorations, of those precious moments hidden in nature, embraced by the arms of solitude. Having nourished his spirit with tea, he embraced his work once more. Carefully, he set the freshly painted canvas before him, allowing it to breathe, absorbing the ambient light of the room. The colors seemed to shimmer with life, whispering stories of summer meadows kissed by sunlight, of wild herbs dancing playfully upon the breeze, and of kaleidoscopic skies that held tender promises. Each detail came alive in his heart, transformed into reflections of longing and joy. The night deepened, and Bram resumed feeling the pulse of creativity threading through his veins, each stroke of his brush echoing the sounds of the forest's embrace. The nocturnal lullabies of crickets began to fill the stillness of the room, wrapping him in their sonorous song as he painted, the soft cadence soothing his very being. Outside, the moon peeked through the treetops, bathing his little cottage in a pale glow, illuminating the sketches that lay scattered about like forgotten dreams, waiting patiently to be released into the world. This magic of artistry and night wrapped itself around Bram like a protective shroud, inviting him deeper into the sanctuary of his thoughts. As a hush settled over the land, he found himself painting not just from memory, but from the threads of emotion that bubbled within. With every brushstroke, he felt the joy of creation illuminating his heart, the passion swirling into magnificent forms yet to be unveiled, a dance of color filled with lush greens and warm terracotta hues that breathed inspiration back into him, stitch by stitch. In that tranquil moment, where time felt suspended, Bram allowed the brush to glide effortlessly across the canvas, letting the worries of yesterday dissolve like mist in the face of dawn. He soared alongside his thoughts, releasing the burdens of the past and embracing the allure of the present, each moment alive, electric with creativity that danced between him and the blank spaces, craving existence. As the hours slipped away, he finally laid down his brush, leaning back to create space for reflection. The painting before him was more than colors and shapes. It was a portal, an escape into the depths of his soul, where he captured not just the beauty of the forest, but the stillness it afforded his heart. It told a story that extended beyond the canvas, a gentle harmony resonating within him, echoing throughout the stillness of the night. With a heart full of gratitude and the gentle weight of sleep beginning to tug at the fringes of his awareness, Bram made his way to bed, the soft blanket embracing him like a cherished memory. With the night wrapped around him, the moonlight casting shadows and soft light across his dreams, he lay in a tranquil embrace, knowing that the journey would resume in the morning, continuing the awakening of dreams and adventures yet to come. As his eyes closed, a smile adorned his sleep-laden face. He drifted, safe in the knowledge that inspiration is always found, waiting like old friends to be uncovered anew in the silence of gentle dreamscapes. The dawn crept silently across the horizon, brushing the world awake with its tender golden fingers. The gentle light broke through the window, spilling over the edges of the velvety drapes, inviting Bram to join the soft symphony of a new day. The scent of the forest, mingled with the lingering aroma of chamomile from the previous evening, lingered in the air, wrapping around him like a reassuring embrace. As he stirred, stretching his limbs beneath the cozy blanket, a sense of excitement ignited within him, igniting the embers of inspiration that buried themselves deep during the night. Rising from bed, he shuffled to the small kitchen, where he quickly prepared another cup of herbal tea, this time a blend of chamomile, spearmint, and a hint of lemongrass kissed with honey. As the kettle bubbled and hummed, the steam danced, swirling about him like gentle spirits, whispering promises of the adventures awaiting just beyond his doorstep. With a steaming cup in hand, he opened the door to the porch, taking in the early morning spectacle before him. Soft mist lingered in the air, cloaking the vibrant greens of the landscape in an ephemeral embrace. The world was still waking, with only the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant call of songbirds breaking the silence, creating a feeling of anticipation that thrummed softly all around. Stepping outside, Bram inhaled deeply, filling his lungs with the crisp, invigorating air that whispered secrets of the day's potential. The gentle dew clung to his bare feet as he wandered along the path that meandered through the wildflower-dotted glade, enchanted by the soft vibrancy all around him. Each flower had opened itself to the morning light, exuding a mellow fragrance that mingled with the fading remnants of night. The kaleidoscope of colors was more vivid than he had ever seen, a sight that filled him with gratitude and wonder. Today was unlike any other. Today he felt the call of far-off realms tugging at his heartstrings, urging him to lace up his boots and embrace the world beyond his familiar boundaries. He decided to return to his beloved glade, where he could immerse himself in the womb of nature and pen his dreams with fluid strokes. As he walked, the sun climbed higher, casting warm rays that danced through the trees, illuminating patches of grass and creating dappled mounds of light. Birds serenaded him from highest branches, their melodies soft and low, a lullaby of encouragement that filled him with a peaceful sense of belonging. He could hear the familiar babble of the brook growing louder with each step, inviting him with its playful, ever-changing song. Upon reaching the glade, the sight was nothing short of magical. The golden morning light filtered through the trees, casting a gentle glow over the wild herbs that thrived at the edges. Pulsing with life, fluttering butterflies flitted from bloom to bloom, and the air shimmered with the sweet scent of lavender and rosemary, awakening longings in Bram's heart for the simplicity and beauty of the moments life had to offer. Setting down his easel, he opened his satchel, letting his brushes, paints, and that day's vision spill forth. He felt a renewed joy welling within him. His heart raced with the thrill of creation. Today, he would not simply capture the beauty before him. He would weave his own dreams into the landscape, allowing his imagination to breathe life into each stroke of color. With the light filtering through the trees, he painted with a fervor born of quiet reflection. Each hue warmed his spirit, creating a tapestry that blended the real with the ethereal. The canvas transformed under his brush, presenting swirls of emerald greens and soft violets, rippling alongside the gentle movements of wind attempting to embrace it all. His passion poured forth, mixing laughter and calmness into each flick of the brush as he felt a deep connection to the earth beneath him. Time slumbered within the folds of the glade, the hours merging effortlessly like rivers converging in the sun-soaked landscape. Seconds faded into minutes, and minutes into hours, as he danced with the gentle breeze, letting the strokes of color evolve naturally. With every stroke, he fell deeper into a meditative state, where words turned into visuals, and visuals whispered tales only understood by the heart. As noon approached, the sun beamed overhead, casting uninterrupted warmth over Bram and his creation. He paused to take in the masterpiece rising before him, a piece that bore witness not only to the wild beauty around him, but also a reflection of his innermost thoughts and dreams, an embodiment of solitude intertwined with nature, buoyed by gentle lamentations of hope. Finishing the final touches, he took a step back to admire his work. What stood before him felt alive, throbbing with color and emotion. The meadow he had painted was filled with imaginary creatures inspired by whispers of the wind and playful flickers of light. It evoked memories of warmth, of laughter shared under the sun, a gentle exploration into a world where creativity knew no bounds and where peace danced upon every brushstroke. But as the tranquility surrounded him, he could feel the urge to take the peace beyond his quiet glade, to share it with the world that hummed at the edges of his art. He harvested some wildflowers, tucking the delicate stems in the folds of his satchel, placing them lovingly against the canvas in a protective embrace. In that small act, he felt just as they were, a bridge between nature and the realm of humanity, an intersection of stories waiting to be shared. Packing up his things, he took one last glance around the glade, feeling the warmth of the sun coaxing him back. With a heart full of hopes and dreams, he made his way back along the silky, moss-lined path, retracing his steps into the whispering world that had become his canvas. As he returned home, he felt a new energy flowing through him, an excitement tinged with a serenity, all anchored in the understanding that art could hold the essence of life's corners. He pieced together his next steps, knowing that soon he would welcome the glow of an eager community that thrived just beyond his cottage walls. He entered his haven, setting the drying canvas against the wall as he placed the flowers in a small vase filled with water, transforming his space into a sanctuary of inspiration. The fragrance mingled with lingering hints of lavender, weaving through the air like a soft lullaby, stitching together the ambiance of creativity and peace. As evening approached, he prepared a simple meal, allowing himself the luxury of reflection as he stirred the pot. He thought of the day's journey, the gentle rhythms of nature, reminding him that in every twist, every turn, and every muted color on his canvas lay an invitation to see the world not just as it is, but as it could be. The potential soaring like the swallows that flitted around the edges of their nests. And after dinner, as soft shadows danced across the walls, Bram settled into his chair, holding the cup of tea cradled against him like a cherished memory. He felt a serene contentment enveloping him, whispering sweet promises of countless dawns yet to come. With the universe resting around him, he began to write, pen tracing gentle words onto the page, sketching out a new narrative not just filled with thoughts, but with the heartbeat of the world as he saw it. Nature, art, dreams, and the quiet hum of existence, comfortably wrapped in the embrace of the evening air. Each word flowed freely, a flood of thoughts turning into a gentle flow, a melodic tribute to those simple yet magical moments that stitch together the tapestry of his everyday life. Soon the night welcomed its starry blanket, each twinkle resonating softly with the pulse of his creativity, urging him to continue exploring not only the landscapes beyond his cottage, but also the depths within his own heart. Finally, surrendering to the blanket of night, he secured his journal, knowing the stories and paintings would be waiting for him, calling him into a world where dreams and reality entwined seamlessly, ready to dance together once more. And as he lay beneath the glimmering constellations, the weight of the day slipped away, allowing him sweet respite in the gentle embrace of dreams anew. The world outside had grown quiet, the night stealing the vibrant hues of the day and transforming them into shades of deep indigo and velvety black that enveloped everything in a soft embrace. Bram folded the final pages of his journal, tucking it safely beneath the familiar pillow on his bed. Contentment flooded through him, the remnants of inspiration lingering in the quiet corners of his mind, whispering lullabies of creativity that nuzzled him to sleep. As he closed his eyes, the gentle hum of crickets became the soundtrack of his dreams, a rhythmic serenade that wrapped him in warmth. The world felt placid, filled with secrets waiting to unfold. Just as sleep began to weave its delicate threads, Bram sensed an eagerness in the air, as though the universe was holding its breath, waiting for dawn to break. Morning arrived softly, like the subtle flutter of a moth against the window. The first rays of sunlight stretched their golden fingers across the meadow, coaxing life back into the tired earth, summoning every flower to bloom anew. Birds began their sweet serenade, filling the air with vibrant notes that painted the dawn with sound, blending harmoniously with the distant murmur of the brook. Rising slowly, Bram found peace in the gentle rhythm of the day's awakening. The light streamed through his curtained window, a cascade of warmth spilling into his cozy cottage, inviting him outside once more. He savored a moment of stillness, the aroma of chamomile lingering from last night's tea, wrapping around him like a familiar embrace. After brewing a fresh cup, he stepped out onto the porch, holding the steaming mug in his hands as he looked out across the familiar landscape. The dew on the grass glistened like tiny jewels, catching the light of the rising sun, while the vibrant wildflowers leaned closer towards the rays, as though thanking the day for its warmth. This was the beauty he cherished, not just in his art, but in every corner of his existence. With a heart full of solace, he began to prepare for the day ahead. He gathered the painting he had finished the evening before, cradling it as if it were a precious secret. His plan for today was simple, yet profound: to share this piece of his heart with the world that beckoned him just beyond the boundaries of his solitude. The path felt familiar beneath his feet, each step resonating with memories of sun-drenched afternoons and quiet evenings spent within the arms of nature. As he traversed towards the little village market, he could feel the gentle pulse of excitement growing within him. His artwork was not just a reflection of his own journey, but a connection back to a community that, though often bustling, sang with stories just as vibrant as his own. Upon arriving at the village square, there was a council of colors vying for attention, with stalls selling fresh fruits, fragrant flowers, and delicate vegetables. The air was alive with laughter and conversation, the spirit of the community dancing through the vibrant atmosphere. He paused for a moment, observing the dynamics. He felt welcomed, as though the space had opened itself to him, beckoning him to join in. Bram finally approached a quaint stall adorned with handmade crafts, a lovely spot owned by Willow, a warm-hearted woman who was known for her keen eye for beauty. She had always been an admirer of his artworks, her laughter ringing like music as they discussed their shared love for the world around them. "Good morning, Bram," she called, her bright eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "What brings you here today?" With a smile, he unveiled his painting, sharing the story behind its creation. The wildflowers, the brook's laughter, the symphony of colors brought forth from hours spent in the embrace of the glade. As he spoke, he saw curiosity light up in her gaze, and her delight wrapped around him, a reminder that art and connection flourished only when shared. "Plon, oh my dear, this is splendid," Willow exclaimed, her fingers tracing the lines of the canvas. "You must display it here. The villagers will adore it just as I do." As if struck by a gentle breeze, Bram felt a sense of renewal, a confidence born from the supportive energy swirling around him. With Willow's help, the painting found its place among the carefully crafted treasures of the stall, a vibrant beacon that shimmered with his heartfelt expression. The villagers began to notice his artwork, whispers of admiration rising like the tendrils of morning mist, as more souls gathered to appreciate the peace that resonated with nature's embrace. Throughout the day, Bram watched as people admired his creation, a blend of curiosity and recognition forming in their gentle expressions. The painting whispered to each onlooker, igniting fragments of their own experiences, weaving their stories together as they recalled laughter shared under golden sunlight or tranquil moments spent lost in nature. Bram ventured into conversations, sharing stories of his connection to the glade, the peace he found in solitude, and the beauty that unveiled itself in quiet moments. Tales flourished like wildflowers in his heart, each dialogue adding another hue to the canvas of his day spent with those who breathed the shared air of the village. As the sun began to dip low in the sky, embracing the earth in an amber glow, a tugging warmth filled Bram's soul. He realized that in that gesture of sharing, of opening up the folds of his heart, he had not only displayed his art, but had embraced a part of himself that had long yearned for community and connection. He felt woven, intricately touched by the very fabric of life that danced around them all. As the last light of day kissed the horizon, the villagers began to bid their farewells, promising to return for another day filled with laughter and conversation. Bram packed up his beloved painting, his spirit buoyed by the day's events. With each step homeward, he carried the warmth of companionship and the vibrancy of shared stories in his heart, knowing that those connections would inspire him to create even more. Returning to his cottage, the evening felt different, brimming with a sense of fulfillment and kinship that he had not anticipated. The once solitary silence was now infused with echoes of joy, laughter, and love that flickered like candlelight in the corners of his home. Settling back into his chair, cup of herbal tea in hand, he took a moment to reflect on the day. The lessons of connection, the beauty of sharing, and the whispers of nature intertwined in a magnificent dance. He closed his eyes, feeling the embrace of stillness wrap around him once more, a tapestry of dreams and possibilities woven into the fibers of his spirit. That night, as he lay beneath the soothing glow of the moon, Bram drifted into a deep, dream-filled slumber, cradled in the knowledge that the world waited in eager anticipation, ready to be explored, painted, and celebrated anew. Art, in its simplest and most profound form, was a bridge connecting him to the heartbeats of the world, inviting exploration and, hand in hand, the profound reminder that wandering, both in nature and in life, would always lead him home.